We've been serving in Mexico for 16 years as missionaries. We spent the first 3 years in Mexico City doing church planting, and then we moved to the city of Puebla at the request of the Missionary Church of Mexico, and we began training and equipping pastors based out of Puebla. We use a program where we go to the pastors' churches throughout northern and central Mexico, and we gather the pastor and their lay leaders together for this training material. It's called SEAN, which means Seminary by Extension to the Nations, and it's material that each person studies for half an hour to an hour every day, and then once a week they gather together in a small group of between 5 and 10 people, and they dig into this a little deeper. There's application questions, and there's ways to study and understand more and apply it to the church ministry context, but also to their personal lives. So that's the thrust of our ministry in Mexico. We are involved in pastoral training. We do equipping, mentoring, and pastoral care for pastors throughout the country. There are really good seminaries in the big cities where these pastors could potentially go to study. Unfortunately, they're very expensive, and most of our pastors are quite poor. They're involved in subsistence work of some kind. Many are bricklayers, there's subsistence farming, we have bakers, sugarcane harvesters, people who sharpen tools for carpenters and other farmers, and those are the kinds of jobs they're involved in. They don't make very much money. They would have to leave their families, they would have to leave their jobs, they would have to leave their churches and move to the city to study in a place they can't afford to live or study. Most of our pastors are also bilingual. They speak some indigenous tongue, and then they speak Spanish as a second language that they've learned as adults for the majority of them. So it makes it difficult for them to go and study in a seminary. And so what we do is we go to where they live, and we are training and equipping them, mentoring them there. We're now in Canada. On March 24th, our mission evacuated us from Mexico because of COVID-19. And we were already planning to come, but we were planning to come during the summer and be here for a few years at least because of the health of our second son, Josiah. He was diagnosed with diabetes 3 years ago, diabetes type 1. And we've been trying to control and manage it in Mexico, but it has not been going well. We don't have the medical support we need there. We don't have the equipment we need to handle his diabetes well. And the previous couple of months before we returned to Canada, we had several crises. We had kidney-related issues and some other issues that came up that were a little bit scary for us. And we just came to the understanding that Josiah needed better medical attention and more equipment than we could provide for him in Mexico. So we've come back to Canada, and we're living in Kitchener, and we're going to be here for a period of time, several years, possibly longer, depending on what the ministry develops as in the future. We're going to be continuing, in fact we have been continuing to minister in Mexico. This would not have really been as doable before COVID-19. But now with the churches not being able to gather together and meet, they've been forced to find other ways to share the word and to encourage and be the church together. So they have asked if I could continue to lead classes over the internet and to preach in some of the churches. So we've been able to do that, been able to connect virtually with a number of our churches, lead the classes, and share the word of God with them as well. Now that isn't possible everywhere because many of the more rural settings just don't have the infrastructure for internet, and they may or may not have a cell phone signal in many of those areas, but it's just not possible to do it virtually. So the plan for ministry going forward is that we will be making regular trips to Mexico. Every 2 to 3 months I'll go down for 10 or 15 days and I'll travel around and visit our pastors and our classes and those who we're mentoring and equipping and encourage them and motivate them and make sure the classes are going well. So we'll be doing that, and then here in Canada, we have some contacts with some Latin pastors in the Kitchener-Waterloo area who are interested in studying. So we may begin this program here in Canada as well. And we're also going to be involved in a program called Mission Prep, which is designed to equip missionaries going to the field, as well as caring for and debriefing them when they return, for them and their children as they return to Canada and face reverse culture shock and all of those kinds of things. So we're excited about that opportunity too, because they train missionaries for over 30 different mission agencies in Canada and the United States. So that's where we're at. That's what ministry looks like. We're continuing to serve in Mexico. We have open doors in Cuba, the Dominican Republic, and Ecuador as well. So we may be doing some more international training and equipping as well, and overseeing classes and doing mentoring in some of these other countries. So we don't have to be physically based in Mexico to do that, and we're able to get the medical attention that Josiah needs here in Canada. That's a brief overview, and I just want to thank you because you've stood with us financially and in prayer during almost that entire time, if not the whole time, that we have been in Mexico. And this ministry couldn't exist, we couldn't do what we do without you standing with us and supporting us and praying for us and encouraging us in this ministry. So thank you for that very much.